What if I told you the most powerful medicines ever discovered are not hidden inside pharmaceutical labs, but were written right into the pages of the Bible and growing wild in your own backyard? Most people do not know this. While we are constantly rushing to the pharmacy for every minor ache and illness, there are sacred plants that have successfully healed humanity for thousands of years. These are not just spiritual symbols. This is a direct medical prescription with real clinical evidence. Modern science has finally caught up, proving at a molecular level that these plants work exactly as our ancestors knew they did. Today, I am going to show you 20 of these miraculous plants. You must stay until the end, because number 18 defeats modern antibiotic-resistant bacteria, and number 20 is the original aspirin, but without any of the stomach damage. Hit that subscribe button right now as we connect ancient biblical wisdom with modern health every single week. Let us begin. Number 1. Plantain weed, the ultimate roadside first aid kit. You step on this green plant every single day, walking down the sidewalk or across your lawn, completely unaware that you are crushing a profound medicine cabinet under your shoes. Ancient healers carried it in their pouches, and early pioneers relied on it when there were no doctors for hundreds of miles. But here is what most people miss. This is not just a resilient weed. Modern science has spectacularly caught up. Clinical trials show that plantain leaves contain a massive amount of allantoin, a powerful compound that rapidly stimulates cellular growth and tissue regeneration. It possesses immense antimicrobial properties that fight off infections at a molecular level. To use it exactly as our ancestors did, simply pick a fresh leaf, chew it for a few seconds to release the active enzymes, and press it directly onto a bee sting, a spider bite, or a deep cut. You will feel an instant cooling sensation as it literally draws out the toxins and venom. Plantain weed never got forgotten, but we did forget that it is genuine healing, far superior to synthetic chemical cream. Number 2. Mullein, the supreme lung cleaner. Towering in ditches and wild fields with its soft velvet leaves and tall yellow flower spikes, mullein has been a sacred remedy for thousands of years. Ancient civilizations, including native tribes and early European herbalists, utilized this miraculous plant to treat the deepest, most agonizing respiratory distress. But here is what most people miss. It does not just temporarily soothe a dry cough like the artificial syrups you buy at the pharmacy. Modern science reveals that mullein has an incredibly high mucilage and saponin content. These compounds work directly at a molecular level to break down hardened congestion and radically reduce inflammation in the respiratory tract. It acts as a profound expectorant, literally forcing the lungs to clear out the garbage and accumulated tar. Brew the dried, fuzzy leaves into a warm, earthy tea, and as you drink it, you will feel immediate, profound relief opening up your chest. Mullein never got forgotten as a wild plant, but we did forget that it is a direct medical prescription for the breath of life. Number 3. Red clover, the sacred blood purifier. It grows abundantly in your front yard, popping up with its bright pink and purple blossoms, only to be relentlessly mowed down and sprayed with weed killer. Yet historically, ancient medical texts revered red clover as a powerful alterative. This means it is a restorative herb designed to cleanse the body from the inside out, targeting what the ancients called dirty blood. But here is what most people miss about these tiny blossoms. Modern science has spectacularly confirmed its power. Clinical trials demonstrate that red clover is densely packed with isoflavones and powerful antioxidants. These compounds dramatically reduce oxidative stress and stimulate lymphatic flow, pushing trapped toxins out of the body. It actively tackles chronic, painful skin conditions like severe eczema, acne, and psoriasis by cleaning the blood at a cellular level, rather than just masking the symptoms with a topical steroid. Pluck the fresh blossoms, dry them in the sun, and steep them in hot water for a sweet, healing tea. It is not just a lawn ornament. It is genuine healing. Number 4. Calendula, the golden battlefield healer. You probably know it as a common, cheerful garden flower, but during medieval times and ancient wars, it was literally a lifesaver. Soldiers and medics carried dried calendula into battle to stop severe bleeding and prevent gangrene and fatal infections in deep sword wounds. But here is what most people miss. This was not symbolic folklore. Modern clinical trials have proven that calendula possesses immense antimicrobial, antiviral, and anti-inflammatory properties. It contains powerful flavonoids and essential oils that accelerate wound healing at a cellular level, stimulating collagen production significantly faster than synthetic pharmaceutical ointments. When you infuse the bright orange petals into a natural carrier oil and apply it directly to severe burns, painful scrapes, or relentless rashes, you will feel an instant, soothing relief. The golden threads of the flower work to knit the broken skin back together. Calendula never got forgotten as a beautiful addition to a garden, but we have completely forgotten that it is a miraculous, life-saving medicine. Number 5. Blue vervain, the nervous system mechanic. In our modern age of endless anxiety, chronic stress, and crippling insomnia, we are constantly running to the pharmacy for heavy sedative pills that leave us groggy and disconnected. Yet ancient herbalists and early physicians called this tall, purple-flowering plant the herb of grace. It was highly respected for its ability to bring a person back from the edge of a nervous breakdown. But here is what most people miss. Modern science has caught up, showing that the intensely bitter compounds found in blue vervain directly interact with our central nervous system. It dramatically lowers oxidative stress and acts as a profound nervine relaxant. It calms the mind and releases deep physical tension at a molecular level, without the terrible, addictive side effects of modern pharmaceutical drugs. Taking just a few drops of its dark tincture or sipping a deeply brewed, bitter tea will immediately quiet a racing, anxious mind and relax tight, stressed muscles. This was not a spiritual metaphor. This was a direct medical prescription for profound peace. Number 6. White horehound, the original, uncorrupted cough drop. Long before the pharmaceutical industry created sugary, artificially colored lozenges wrapped in plastic, the ancients relied on this bitter, fuzzy mint family plant to survive harsh winters and severe, rattling chest infections. It has roots tracing back to ancient Egyptian medicine and early Hebrew traditions as a sacred, bitter herb. But here is what most people miss. It is not just a strong flavor meant to distract you from a sore throat. Clinical trials demonstrate that white horehound contains a highly active compound called merubian. This chemical triggers the immediate secretion of healing fluids in the respiratory tract. It violently breaks up thick, stubborn mucus and severe inflammation, functioning as a profound, natural expectorant. Boil the fresh or dried leaves down with raw, local honey to create a thick, dark syrup. It coats the throat with a sharp, bitter warmth that actually heals the underlying infection rather than just numbing the pain. White horehound never got forgotten, but we did forget why it is vastly superior to anything sitting in the pharmacy aisle. Number 7. Agrimony, the gentle throat mender. Historically, this slender plant, with its bright yellow spikes of flowers, was an absolute staple in every ancient apothecary. It was used extensively by ancient singers, public speakers, and teachers to restore lost voices and heal raw, severely damaged throats after days of strain. If you are starting to see a pattern here, realizing that true medicine has been growing right outside your door all along, hit that like button and subscribe right now to join a community that understands healing is holistic and natural. But here is what most people miss about agrimony. Modern science reveals it is incredibly rich in natural tannins. These compounds create a profound astringent effect. When they come into contact with the body, they immediately tighten, tone, and repair the inflamed, swollen tissues of the throat and digestive tract at a cellular level. It stops inflammation dead in its tracks. Gargle a strong, warm infusion of the dried leaves and flowers, and you will experience an immediate, soothing relief that lasts for hours. It is a miraculous plant that proves genuine healing is pure. Number 8. Yellow dock, the supreme liver detoxifier. Often dismissed today as a stubborn, ugly weed with its rusty, curled leaves taking over abandoned fields, ancient healers prized its deep, yellow taproot as a master tonic. They understood that the liver is the ultimate filter of the human body, and yellow dock was the absolute best way to clean that filter. But here is what most people miss. Modern clinical trials have proven exactly how it works. Yellow dock directly stimulates the production of bile and vital digestive enzymes. It is densely packed with anthraquinones, powerful chemical compounds that gently but incredibly effectively flush accumulated toxins from the liver and radically reduce heavy oxidative stress in the entire digestive system. Simmer the hard, dried root into a dark, bitter decoction. Drinking a small amount of this earthy liquid before meals will completely transform your digestion, eliminate chronic bloating, and clear up systemic, stubborn skin issues from the inside out. We are constantly running to the pharmacy for antacids, forgetting that Yellow Dock is a direct medical prescription for a perfectly healthy gut. Number 9. Self-Heal. The name that literally says it all. Known scientifically as Prunella vulgaris, this low-growing plant with its tiny, tube-like purple flowers was considered a holy, sacred herb. For centuries across Europe and Asia, it was believed to be sent directly from above to cure absolutely everything from bleeding mouth ulcers to deep, infected battle wounds. But here is what most people miss about this unassuming little flower. Modern science has spectacularly caught up to its arrogant name. Researchers have discovered it contains massive amounts of rosmarinic acid, a compound with astonishing antiviral and antimicrobial properties. Clinical trials show it actively inhibits the replication of certain aggressive viruses and dramatically reduces cellular inflammation throughout the body. You can crush the fresh plant into a dark green poultice for immediate powerful wound care, or brew it into a daily, mild-tasting tea to fortify your immune system at a molecular level. Self-healing never got forgotten, but we completely forgot that nature actually wants us to heal ourselves without chemical intervention. Number 10. Sea buckthorn, the ultimate cellular armor. This bright orange, intensely tart berry grows on thorny bushes in some of the harshest, most unforgiving cold climates on Earth. It is so incredibly powerful and resilient that Russian cosmonauts literally consumed it and used its oils in space to protect their bodies from devastating cosmic radiation. But here is what most people miss. This is not science fiction or exaggerated folklore. Modern science confirms that sea buckthorn is an absolute nutritional powerhouse. It is loaded with rare omega-7 fatty acids and immense concentrated levels of antioxidants. Clinical trials prove it radically neutralizes oxidative stress, rapidly heals severe burns, and regenerates damaged mucous membranes in the stomach and intestines at an astonishing rate. Consume the purely extracted bright orange oil or apply it directly to severely damaged, aging skin for genuine healing that feels almost miraculous. It is a profound, undeniable reminder that the most powerful, life-altering medicines are not synthesized in a sterile laboratory, but forged by the brilliant design of nature. If you are starting to see the profound pattern here, if you are realizing that true healing is holistic, and that the answers have been growing right under our feet all along, hit that like button and subscribe right now. Join our growing community of people who understand that the most powerful medicine is not found in a synthetic pill, but in the brilliant design of creation. Number 11. Oregon grape, the golden thread of skin healing. Native American tribes revered this tough evergreen shrub, using its bright yellow roots to treat deep systemic infections and chronic skin conditions. But here is what most people miss. This is not just a primitive folk remedy. Modern science has caught up in a spectacular way. The secret lies in a potent alkaloid called berberine, which gives the root its brilliant golden color. Clinical trials have proven that berberine applied topically is incredibly effective at treating severe psoriasis. At the molecular level, it actually slows down the abnormal hyperproliferation of skin cells and drastically reduces oxidative stress and inflammation. Instead of relying on harsh synthetic steroid creams that thin your skin and damage your immune system over time, traditional herbalists still use a simple tincture or salve made from Oregon grape root. You apply it directly to the inflamed area for a cooling, deeply soothing relief. Oregon grape never got forgotten, but we did forget why it is so profoundly effective at resetting our skin from the inside out. Number 12. Elecampane, the deep lung resurrecting root. In ancient times, Roman physicians and medieval monks cultivated elecampane specifically to treat the most stubborn, rattling coughs and respiratory plagues. It was considered a sacred breath giver. But here is what most people miss. It does not just suppress your cough like a modern drug that tricks your brain into ignoring the problem. Modern science reveals that elecampane is loaded with two powerful compounds called inulin and allantolactone. Clinical trials demonstrate that these phytochemicals work simultaneously as a soothing, demulcent, and a powerful expectorant. They actively thin, thick, infected mucus and stimulate the lungs to expel it, while simultaneously fighting off the underlying bacterial infection with strong antimicrobial properties. To use it today, you simmer the dried root into a thick, bitter, earthy decoction. Drinking this intensely aromatic tea warms the chest immediately, opening the bronchial tubes and allowing genuine healing to take place deep within the respiratory system. This was not symbolic. This was a direct medical prescription for lung health. Number 13, boneset, the fever breaker of the ancients. During the devastating outbreaks of what early Americans called breakbone fever, which we now know as early strains of influenza and severe viral infections, doctors were utterly helpless. But the indigenous peoples knew about a tall, resilient plant growing in the wetlands. They called it boneset. But here is what most people miss. Boneset does not simply lower your temperature by forcing your body into an unnatural state like modern acetaminophen. Modern science has caught up, showing that boneset contains powerful immunomodulating polysaccharides. At the molecular level, it aggressively stimulates the production and activity of white blood cells. It works by inducing a massive, purifying sweat. You drink a hot infusion of the incredibly bitter leaves, get under heavy blankets, and sweat profusely. By morning, the fever breaks, and the deep, agonizing bone pain vanishes. It works with your immune system, not against it. Boneset is a miraculous reminder that sometimes the body needs to burn hot to heal, and nature provides the exact catalyst. Number 14. Yarrow, the warrior's sacred bandage. According to ancient legends, the Greek hero Achilles carried yarrow into battle to treat the bleeding wounds of his soldiers. For thousands of years, it was known as the military herb. But here is what most people miss. This is not just a mythological story. It is highly advanced trauma medicine. Modern science has isolated a compound in the plant appropriately named acylane. Clinical trials confirm that this specific alkaloid triggers the coagulation cascade in human blood almost instantly. It is a profound hemostatic agent. If you are ever injured in the wild, you can take fresh yarrow leaves, crush them between your fingers to release the volatile oils, and pack them directly into a bleeding wound. The bleeding stops with miraculous speed, and its natural antimicrobial properties immediately prevent infection. Yarrow never got forgotten, but we did forget that it is a literal emergency room, growing wild in our meadows, offering immediate, genuine healing without a single synthetic chemical. Number 15, comfrey, the miraculous bone knitter. For centuries, European peasants and herbalists relied on a plant with large, hairy leaves and bell-shaped flowers to heal severe fractures, sprains, and deep bruises. They literally called it knit bone. But here is what most people miss. The idea of a plant physically accelerating bone and tissue repair sounds like pure magic, but modern science has completely validated it. Comfrey contains incredibly high concentrations of a compound called allantoin. At the cellular level, allantoin is a powerful cell proliferant. It literally forces your cells to divide and multiply at an accelerated rate. When you crush comfrey leaves into a dark green poultice and bind it tightly around a sprained ankle or a fractured rib, the allantoin absorbs through the skin and goes straight to work, rebuilding damaged cartilage, muscle, and bone. Pharmaceutical companies have tried to synthesize allantoin for expensive anti-aging creams, but the pure, unadulterated comfrey leaf remains the undisputed king of structural healing. Number 16, toothache plant, the electric anesthetic. Long before the invention of Novocaine and modern dentistry, indigenous tribes of the Amazon and early settlers used a strange, cone-shaped yellow flower to treat agonizing dental pain. But here is what most people miss. This is not a mild, soothing herb that takes weeks to build up in your system. This is an immediate, shocking physiological reaction. Modern science has identified the active ingredient as spilanthyl. When you chew a single tiny flower bud of the toothache plant, your mouth is instantly hit with a strong, tingling, effervescent sensation, followed seconds later by complete, profound numbness in your gums and tongue. Clinical trials show that spilanthol acts as a powerful local anesthetic and a potent anti-inflammatory agent. It literally blocks the pain receptors at the molecular level while simultaneously fighting the oral bacteria causing the infection. It is undeniable sensory proof that the most potent painkillers were beautifully designed by nature, long before the first pharmacy was ever built. Number 17. Usnea, the wild antibiotic of the forest. If you walk through an old-growth forest, you will often see a pale green, stringy lichen hanging from the branches of dying trees. It looks like an old man's beard. For thousands of years, healers used this strange organism to treat severe respiratory infections and festering wounds. But here is what most people miss. Usnea is not just a plant. It is a symbiotic marriage between an algae and a fungus, and it is a biological weapon against disease. Modern science has caught up, isolating a remarkably potent compound called usnic acid. Clinical trials have demonstrated that usnic acid is a devastatingly effective antimicrobial agent, particularly against gram-positive bacteria like Staphylococcus and Streptococcus. Unlike synthetic antibiotics that wipe out your entire gut microbiome and severely damage your liver, usnic acid specifically targets and disrupts the cellular metabolism of the invading bacteria. By extracting usnea into a strong alcohol tincture, you unlock a sacred, wild antibiotic that has been quietly protecting the forest and humanity since the dawn of time. Number 18. Barberry, the ultimate superbug slayer. Ancient Egyptian physicians and Ayurvedic masters prized the incredibly bitter, bright yellow roots of the barberry bush to treat severe gastrointestinal infections and deadly dysentery. But here is what most people miss. While modern medicine is currently panicking over the rise of antibiotic-resistant superbugs, the answer has been waiting in this ancient shrub all along. Modern science has proven that barberry is packed with a massive dose of berberine. But here is the profound twist. Clinical trials reveal that berberine actually contains an efflux pump inhibitor. In simple terms, when mutated superbugs try to pump the medicine out of their cells to survive, barberry completely blocks their escape route, destroying bacteria that modern pharmaceutical drugs cannot even touch. A simple extract of barberry root bark delivers intense, localized antibacterial action in the gut without the severe side effects of broad-spectrum prescription antibiotics. This is not just folklore. This is highly advanced, molecular warfare engineered by nature. Number 19. Sassafras, the beautiful and dangerous blood purifier. For generations, sassafras was the absolute cornerstone of traditional American folk medicine. Its fragrant roots were brewed into strong spring tonics to purify the blood, cleanse the liver, and act as the original flavoring for root beer. But here is what most people miss, and it is a crucial lesson in natural medicine. Nature is incredibly powerful, but it demands absolute respect. Modern science discovered that sassafras contains a high concentration of a volatile oil called safrole. While it is highly effective at stimulating the liver to flush out toxins, clinical trials have shown that safrole, when consumed in heavy, concentrated, long-term doses, can actually become toxic and cause severe liver damage. This is a profound reminder that natural does not always mean harmless. Ancient herbalists understood this deeply. They used sassafras strictly in small doses for very short periods of time. We must remember that true healing requires wisdom, reverence, and a deep understanding of the delicate balance between medicine and poison. Number 20. Meadowsweet, the flawless original aspirin. Deep in the damp meadows of Europe, ancient druids considered meadowsweet one of their most sacred herbs. They used its sweet-smelling, frothy white flowers to treat debilitating joint pain, raging fevers, and severe headaches. But here is what most people miss, and this is perhaps the greatest medical theft in history. In the late 1800s, scientists studied meadowsweet and isolated its active pain-killing compound, salicylic acid. They took this compound, altered it in a laboratory, patented it, and sold it to the world as aspirin. But modern science reveals the tragic flaw of the pharmaceutical version. Synthetic aspirin aggressively strips the lining of your stomach, causing ulcers and internal bleeding. However, the original, whole plant of meadowsweet contains salicylic acid perfectly balanced with natural mucilage and tannins. Clinical trials show that while it aggressively reduces pain and inflammation at the molecular level, it simultaneously coats, protects, and heals the stomach lining. It provides all the miraculous pain relief of aspirin with zero gastrointestinal damage. Meadowsweet is the ultimate proof that nature always has a more perfect, more elegant, and more compassionate formula than any laboratory. It never got forgotten, but we did forget that it is genuine medicine. The scriptures and the ancient texts are not just spiritual documents. They are medical texts recording a profound wisdom of healing that worked thousands of years ago and works exactly the same today. This is not folklore. This is legitimate, evidence-based medicine given to us by design. Which of these miraculous plants surprised you the most? Are you Team Yarrow for its instant wound healing, Team Toothache Plant for that electric numbing shock, or Team Meadowsweet for showing up modern aspirin? I read every single comment and I absolutely love hearing your thoughts and experiences. Please hit that subscribe button right now. Sometimes the most powerful, life-saving medicine is not hiding behind a pharmacy counter, but is growing wildly in the dirt, waiting for you to see it with a completely new perspective. We have just walked through a living pharmacy that has been growing right beneath our feet since the dawn of creation. For decades, we have been conditioned to believe that true healing only comes from a sterile laboratory in a plastic bottle packaged with a long list of dangerous side effects. But the 20 plants we explored today prove a much deeper truth. Ancient texts and the Bible are not just spiritual documents meant to guide our morality. They are profound medical texts, recording a spectacular wisdom of healing that worked thousands of years ago and works exactly the same today. This is not mere folklore or primitive guesswork. This is legitimate, evidence-based medicine given to us by grand design. Modern science, with its clinical trials and molecular research, is not discovering anything new. It is simply catching up to what our ancestors already knew. When you look at the perfect molecular structure of meadowsweet or the miraculous antimicrobial properties of usnea, you realize that nature does not just mask your symptoms. These sacred plants speak the exact same biological language as your own cells. They do not do the healing for you. Instead, they remind your body how to heal itself. This was never symbolic. This was a direct medical prescription written into the earth itself. We never really forgot these plants, but we did forget why they were sacred. Now I want to turn this over to you. Which of these miraculous plants surprised you the most today? Are you Team Yarrow for its instant wound healing on the battlefield? Are you Team Toothache Plant for that electric numbing shock that defies belief? Or are you Team Meadowsweet for showing up to modern aspirin without ruining your stomach? Let me know down below. I read every single comment and I absolutely love hearing your personal thoughts and your own experiences with these incredible herbs. If you want to keep uncovering these hidden truths and join a community of people who value genuine healing over pharmaceutical convenience, please hit that subscribe button right now. Sometimes the most powerful, life-saving medicine is not hiding behind a pharmacy counter. It is written in ancient wisdom and growing wildly in the dirt, just waiting for you to see it with a completely new perspective. For many people, the modern approach to health has created a sense of distance between the individual and the process of healing. We often look for immediate solutions without fully understanding the body's natural ability to repair and regulate itself. However, when we reconnect with natural elements, we start to see that healing is not something imposed from outside, but something supported from within. This realization can be both empowering and deeply reassuring. Nature operates in harmony with the human body, not in opposition to it. The compounds found in plants often mirror or complement biological processes, allowing the body to restore balance in a gentle and sustainable way. This does not mean rejecting modern medicine, but rather expanding our perspective to include multiple paths to health. Such an integrated view encourages both knowledge and responsibility. When we begin to observe the world more closely, ordinary surroundings take on new meaning. Plants that once seemed insignificant can become symbols of resilience, healing, and continuity across generations. This shift in perception is not only intellectual but also emotional, as it fosters a deeper connection to the environment. Over time, this connection can influence daily habits and long-term health decisions. Ultimately, the journey toward understanding natural healing is not about mastering every detail, but about developing awareness and curiosity. Small steps, such as learning about one plant or trying one simple practice, can gradually build confidence and insight. If this perspective resonates with you, consider continuing the exploration and sharing your thoughts with others. By doing so, you contribute to a broader conversation that values both tradition and discovery in the pursuit of well-being. This conversation is not limited to experts, scientists, or historians, but extends to everyday individuals who are willing to question, observe, and learn from the world around them. It becomes a shared space where knowledge is not owned, but exchanged, refined, and rediscovered across generations. In this way, each small insight you gain has the potential to ripple outward, influencing others in subtle yet meaningful ways. When people begin to engage in this kind of dialogue, something remarkable happens. The gap between ancient knowledge and modern understanding starts to close, revealing that these two realms are not in conflict, but are often deeply interconnected. Scientific research may validate what traditional practices have long suggested, while traditional wisdom provides context and direction for modern inquiry. This mutual reinforcement creates a more holistic view of health, one that respects both evidence and experience. At a personal level, this broader conversation encourages a shift from passive consumption to active participation. Instead of simply accepting information as it is presented, you begin to ask questions, seek deeper understanding, and apply what resonates with your own life. This process fosters critical thinking and self-awareness, both of which are essential for making informed decisions about health and well-being. Over time, this mindset can transform the way you approach not only healing, but also daily living. Moreover, this perspective helps to restore a sense of balance that is often missing in modern life. In a world that moves quickly and prioritizes convenience, it is easy to overlook the value of patience, observation, and gradual progress. Natural healing, however, often operates on a different timeline. It reminds us that meaningful change does not always happen instantly, but can unfold steadily through consistent, mindful actions. This understanding can reduce frustration and cultivate a more sustainable approach to health. Another important aspect of this conversation is the recognition of diversity in healing practices. Different cultures, regions, and communities have developed their own approaches to health, shaped by their environment and experiences. By exploring these varied traditions, we gain a richer and more nuanced understanding of what it means to heal. This not only broadens our knowledge, but also fosters respect for perspectives that may differ from our own. As this awareness grows, it can also influence the way we relate to the natural world. Instead of viewing nature as a resource to be used, we begin to see it as a partner in the process of well-being. This shift encourages more thoughtful and responsible interactions with the environment, promoting practices that are both beneficial to human health and sustainable for the planet. In this sense, personal well-being and environmental stewardship become closely linked. Ultimately, participating in this broader conversation is an ongoing journey rather than a final destination. There will always be more to learn, more to question, and more to discover. What matters most is the willingness to remain open, curious, and engaged. Even small contributions, such as sharing an experience, asking a question, or reflecting on new information, can help to keep this dialogue alive and evolving. In the end, the pursuit of well-being is not a solitary endeavor. It is a collective process shaped by countless voices, past and present, each adding their own perspective and insight. By choosing to be part of this process, you not only enhance your own understanding, but also help to create a more informed and connected community. And within that community, the knowledge that once seemed hidden or forgotten can continue to grow, adapt, and inspire new possibilities for healing.